Hey everyone, today I will give you a tutorial for filling the passport application form for Canada, which is for the adult application. So before starting that, I will like to show you the screen how to get the application form, how to fill all the fields. So if you have any questions, you can always message me or comment me or ask me. And let's begin. So I'll share my screen here so that everyone can see. Now, let's start here. First of all, we have to go to google.com and type in here adult Canadian passport application. The very first option which shows adult general passport application will come, and this you can see it's in a PDF form, and this form is called as PPTC 153. So you have to click this first link, and when you click this first link, it will open 8 pages of the PPTC 153 adult general passport application. This is for Canadians 16 years of age or over applying like in Canada or in the US. So basically, this page is of 8 pages. This is a PDF file. You can download by clicking on this button, and I can show you how to fill or how to do the things all step by step. Let's begin with the first one. The first one says personal information. Now you have to type. You can either type or you can hand write. Like you can print also, like you can type or handwritten instructions with the dark blue ink or black ink. So surname is the last name which is requested to appear in the passport. And then the given name, for example, surname, I put XYZ. Given name, somebody's name is ABC, okay? Given name is the first name which appears in the passport, and all former surnames, including the surname at birth. So these will not appear in the passport. So if you have any former surname, then you can put. If you don't have, leave it empty. Now, mother's surname at birth. So mother's surname at birth, whichever your mother's surname, just fill it out. And mother's surname means they're asking for last name of your mother. Then it is the place of birth, city, and country, and the province where you were born. Now, this column anticipated date of travel. So you always try to fill unknown if you don't have any travel plans. So if you have any travel plans, you have the travel tickets, you can click this and put month and day. But if you have no travel plans, just click here, unknown. Then the current home address where you are living, which contains your number, street, apartment, city, province, territory or state, postal, zip code. And mailing address has to be written if it is different from the current home address. And if it is same, no need to write it. Next comes the email address and the telephone number. And if you have two telephone number, put the second one here. Now, you have to sign within the border. Make sure that you are not signing outside the border because it's completely mentioned they're going to use your signature if they need it. So always sign within the border. And this is very important. Date where you signed with the year, month, and date. And signed at which city and which province, territory, or state. This is very, very important. So make sure you are filling this. If you are an adult, 16 years or above 16 years, you have to fill this all. Now, second is the declaration of guarantor. Now, this section is very important for everyone who is applying for the first time. You or your guarantor can complete this section. So make sure that you know your guarantor at least 2 years. For at least 2 years, you are known to that guarantor. That guarantor knows you for 2 years. So you have to put the name of your guarantor here, the last name here, and the given name here, his date of birth, his Canadian passport, his passport's date of issue with date of expiry. What's the relationship to the applicant means? Is the relationship to the applicant as a friend, or maybe a guarantor can be your doctor also. So you have to put the relationship to the applicant who is applying, his telephone number, his current home address with all province and postal code, obviously, and the signature of guarantor. And this is very important. People forget this. I have known the applicant for how many number of years? Like at least it should be two. It can be more than two, but at least it should be two. and date when the guarantor is signing the application and signed at which city and which state or province or territory. Make sure the guarantor signs this after you have signed. For example, you have signed on, let's say, 22nd of June 2023, and make sure your guarantor should sign at least on 2020, like 22nd of June 2023 or after that. If the guarantor is signing before you sign the application, then it can be considered as a red flag. Your application can be delayed. So always guarantor has to sign the application when you have filled all the application. So when you are filling second column, the second declaration of guarantor, after that, let's move to the second page which says number 3, previous Canadian travel document. So if you have any previous Canadian travel document, for example, any passport, or if you are a first time applicant, obviously you will not be having the previous travel document. You might be having PR card. So if you don't have any travel document, just say no here. There is no need to write the PR card because that's is a different thing because that is not a kind of a refugee travel document or it's not a passport basically. They basically ask that if you have a previous Canadian passport. So you have to write no. Then after that, if you want that, if suppose somebody has a previous Canadian passport, they can say yes here that I want it should be returned to me. So otherwise, no need. Just say no and move on to the fourth one. Now, next one is the proof of Canadian citizenship. Now, you are a first-time applicant and you need the proof of Canadian citizenship, which is your certificate of Canadian citizenship. So you can write here on the second option, 4A, second option, certificate of Canadian citizenship, which is the certificate number, your date of issue or effective date of citizenship. And if you are a Canadian citizen by birth, then you have to choose the first option, like Canadian provincial or territorial birth certificate with registration number or date of issue. But if you are a first time applicant who had got just the citizenship, just click the second option for 4A. And then you have to write the certificate number and the effective date of your citizenship, which is always on the certificate of citizenship. Now, the fourth B says to be completed if you were born outside of Canada. Obviously, if a person is getting a citizenship and is a first time applicant and is from another country, then this applies. So, you have to provide one of the following documents listed below. So, suppose you have the certificate of Canadian citizenship, just check it here and just write the certificate number and just write the effective date of citizenship. Now, the second part is to be completed if you were born outside of Canada between February 15, 1977 and April 16, 1981. Now, it also says that you do not need to complete this section if you are presenting a certificate of Canadian citizenship issued after January 1st, 2007. So those who are getting citizenship after January 1st, 2007, they don't need to use this or fill this column at all, even if they're born between 1977 and 1981 with the following dates. They don't need to say yes. So just they have to say no and no. And then let's move to the next question, which is number 5. So documents. Now it's a very important part of the Canadian adult passport application, which are the documents to support the identity. So you have to provide at least one document to support your identity, and it must be a valid, issued by federal, provincial, territorial government. It should include your name, date of birth, signature, and photo. Remember these things: name, date of birth, signature, and photo. So, for example, driving license. You can use here your driving license. And if somebody doesn't have a driving license, there must be a provincial ID card or something like, for example, in the province of British Columbia, it's BCID. You can use BCID in the province of Ontario. There is a Ontario identity card which bears the photo, signature, date of birth, and name. So you can put here only one document and here the document number, date of expiry, it should be valid, and your name as it appears on the document, and here the signature of the applicant who is applying for the passport and the date. And also this must be certified as a true copy from the guarantor. This is a very important step. So if you are attaching the photocopy of this one, it should be signed and dated by the guarantor. Means guarantor had seen all these documents. Let's move to page number 3. So number 6 question says choose one of the following periods of validity. Means are you applying for a 5-year passport or a 10-year passport? If you're applying for, let's say, 10-year, just check this radio button. And number 7 is the additional personal information. So you have to fill it out here, addresses in the last 2 years. If it is same as your current home address, you can choose this. If it is different from your current home address, you can choose this and provide all the dates. And make sure there are no gaps. There shouldn't be any gaps. And similarly, 7B is the occupation in the last 2 years. You were employed and you have to enter the full, like the details, like employer address, telephone number, field of employment or studies, and from which date to which date. No gaps, please. And this is for 2 years. Next comes 8, references. So you have to give the references of 2 persons who are neither your relatives nor your guarantor and are 18 years of age and over and have known to you for at least 2 years. So they know you for at least 2 years and the guarantor cannot be your reference. Remember that the guarantor is not your reference. Your references will be to different persons. It can be your friend, it can be your colleague, it can be your boss. So make sure you are putting the right information and the guarantor is not the reference. So both guarantor and reference cannot be the same person. Then comes the emergency contact information, which is optional. You can fill or you can leave. Then the signature of the applicant and the date. And that's all. So the 3-page application, who is applying for the adult application, is good to go. And always read the instruction because the fee structure is written here. Like for the 5-year validity, it is Canadian $120. 10-year validity, it is Canadian $160 as of June 2023. After that, it might be changed, or I don't know what can be there because sometimes the rules are changing timely. So you have to always check what's going on. And the requirement list, which is very important, number B, you have to see that are you having all these things? Means all the 3 pages of the application form are completed and signed within the last 12 months. And page 1 certified by the guarantor. Then 2 identical and unaltered passport size photos within the last 6 months and 1 certified by the guarantor. So guarantor has to certify your photo as well as the document, your identity document, which was signed and dated by your guarantor. Then proof of Canadian citizenship. And then the document to support your identity, maybe it's a driving license or any national or provincial identity you have with the photo, signature, date of birth on it, and any valid Canadian travel document if it is issued to you, and the fee. And that's all. And then you are good to go. And this is the 3-page application. And if you are filling like the credit card, you are paying by credit card, here is the information on page 4. You can always type it out, the card type, whichever card type you have. But if you are paying through debit, that's fine. And if you are paying through credit, this is the information name as it appears on the card and every details of the card and the signature of the card holder with date. So that's all how we fill the Canadian adult passport application as of June 2022, 2023, 22nd June. So if you have any questions, comment, like and subscribe my channel. That's all. Thank you very much.